Thank you, Aaron. Yeah, we're not interested in prizes, are we? Right? Who cares about the damn prizes? But absolutely, I saw that a few of my former students are here, as well as current students. So I was just going to say before I say anything else, hi to Liz Cunningham. I think she's still in there, and she was my student. My God, 18 years ago. Back in the States, and she's a brilliant poet. So if you ever get a manuscript from her, please take it very seriously and consider it. And as you said, Fee, who's my current PhD student, she's here as well, and she's going to have a brilliant second book out. And I'm glad to see that poetry has completely changed her life. When she was let go as a cleaner, she decided to do some poetry, and now 3.5 years later, something like that, she's a professional poet. And then obviously Taylor, like you mentioned, who was also my student almost 20 years ago now, who has a book coming out, which is absolutely fantastic, and means so much more to me than bringing out my own books and things like that. I just want to write the poems. That's all I want to do. So I get really excited when I see my students succeed and publishing books. And just a few thank yous. So obviously Aaron and the whole team at Broken Sleep, thanks for taking this risky book. And I have to thank Pro Helvetia, the Swiss Arts Council, who have given me a pretty big what they call a literary creation grant to write this book. So you will see all of the logos all over the place. I think that's about it. I don't say much about my poems at all. I just want to read them. There are a couple in here where I have to say just a few things about some of the lines and a few of the details. But we'll just go in and read them. Can you guys hear me okay? Yeah, okay. All right. Birth certificate counter questions. When the investigator arrives, I name him Here I Am. I name him Motherland. No one will see you. I have given birth in the mirror, a Tatum in all likelihood, or Kokoschka sex doll, ruptured and headless, of course. Don't we name what we name to understand what named us? The only truth is how water speaks to the moon. What are we waiting for? The more important the man, the sicker his sexuality, wrote Alma Mahler. No one will answer you. The committee. Between your questions, us. Indeed, she wrote, my fantasy is full of the most perverse images of cripples and seeking cripple them. And did you get what you wanted? You're never within, never without. Let me too be an invisible act, compassionate, selfless, yes. What is between a doll and a pulse, a skin and a lashing, this newborn and the next? So the next poem, you'll see there's a quotation, repetition of a line, and that's by the Italian poet Antonia Pozzi. She died in the late 1930s. Motel window. What happened to us at such an hour? The postman picks lemons and tomatoes en route to the tiniest boxes of lies. The empty school bus delivers our children's terror without blame or refusal, because the morning light is a fresh bandage. The mother singing to the little girl who is ready for another forgive me, who does not belong to the cruel answer scribbled somewhere. No, the morning cigarette is not solitude. It's a loss of faith. And it's not too late to take pleasure in more survival. Someone keeps going. We all do. What would you say? Why do they not dream of our thirst when all we are is thirsty? The catastrophe we confess when we show how lucky and forgotten we truly are. How the rain came to destroy us, the poor, the silent, the miracles of a lifetime. We keep reading and rereading Pozzi. And now you want me to tell you the history of birds. And now you want me to tell you the history of birds. And now you want me to tell you the history of birds. We can't hear it all passing over us unclean as we are. Every beautiful thing is as painful as everything else. Late December. Clearly, nothing much is happening. Kids continue to wish for snow, the rest for something other than the possible, something other than the fog, settling as thorns frozen on fences, winter in its subtlest arrival, barbs are barriers. Still, no one misses the ordinary, not even the blackbirds, just as no one on either side misses the end of the world. Birthday party, back of. Be careful in whose house you speak. Speaking in pinks or reds or yellows is a matter of loss. How hard the work, the bright nakedness you are made of, or the cutout of yourself as a child, an upended prison, 2 birthmarks on the small of your back, and neither knows the other's name. The one who told you everything you know. Why did the hustler catch you drowning in orphaned milk? Blue plastic tractor, Polaroid in the back pocket of his jeans. Secrets don't believe in magic or the fate of autonomous door alarms. It's raining now, and there they are again. Any minute now, watch them closely. Still, already, it's June. It's time for new pictures. The shrieks of cotton candy and love hearts. Landscape with rag. How? A stone's throw away, your sisters are dead too. If only devastation could sound like sleep walking. Before the day you should have left, you told me how to misread sleep for a rope, a dank neck, a crackling light. How we're all better for it. How the history of the sky remains as we do, open and missing. How we will forget the half-forgotten for good. How by the lakeside, your body unwashed will never be. Errata after Tolstoy. Page 4, line 19. For time fails to reach us, read, I sent a message in German. Page 15, line 6. Delete semicolon and line after, it's just a matter of theory. Page 17, line 10. For do not read, allow us to taste the pomegranates in silence. Page 22, line 32. Delete full stop after, be ashamed of our flesh that rages. Page 38, line 8. For ponder this rope, read patient and abandoned ululation. Page 40, line 25. For fury, read the language in our hands becomes another. Page 41, line 12. Insert comma after children, stills on the cutting room floor. Page 49, line 4. For seemingly doubtless, read frozen and brutal and found. Page 56, line 27. For our duty to teach others, read post-hypnotic museum. Page 63, line 31. For shapeless and unformed, read as though sewn together. Page 68, line 15. Delete comma and rest of line after we were only young. Page 72, line 16. For breathe for one another, read breath is a palimpsest. Page 83, line 22. Delete dash at beginning of line after Ausschnitt. Page 91, line 3. For we will never be as hungry, read beautiful. Safe house, for a lack of a better term. If I strip myself of everything, what's left is not the pressure of the cardboard gun on my mother's temple, or the sharpied note transcribed for bullied fingers, or the shoelace lost and tied to its chilling looseness, or the wordless fatherhood in rows of garden beds, or the family truths on a taped over VHS cassette, or the rusted hook with cured cuts of madness, or the syringe golden between a set of steel teeth, or the ammonia jar welting a collapsed lung, or the darkness living under other people's names, or the unanswerable question no one ever made use of, or the undoings that are near impossible to trace, or the crease that tempers the notice to resettle. What's left is a pardon, the appetite of an overcast day. Geometries of exile, or every day we peddle our nameless names on the sidewalks, the boulevards, the train stations, demanding attention, this other thing we cannot name, pleading to speak again as the crowd watches the idea of a crowd. Our labor, our soap, our echo, beyond the tracks, a mule, to the south, a white pony, a farm to the east, smoke, our fists or lives written or drawn by a mute child who makes the color blue scream all night like a voice or a sky or nothing at all. Eastern village with factory. Dogs bark in untended fields. Outside, artificial light pools the road nobody's died on, with men sauntering the graveyard shift, unafraid to sing alone. I stretch out and find I married a woman who doesn't care that they have picked up the ambrosial bouquet of sex, neatly wrapped in tissue paper at the foot of our bed. She welcomes the rabbit charge. Anything that reminds her she belongs to the faint hinterland. She keeps the doors unlocked. I say nothing. Men or dogs, there will be no other end. Exit points. This one's a blue storm in a cracked jar, but there's no rain. This one's a spiral staircase in an orchard, but there's no fox. This one's a downtown bridge of fingers raised, but there's no singing. And now the sounds of a car crash from the nearby Autobahn. but there's no miracle. And now the folds in the sky made of ammonia and whispers, but there's no mother. And now we re-strip the carcass, the loneliest parts of our bodies, but there's no answer. And now we listen to what we should have been told. Whatever is forbidden lives 100 times over. Homecoming. I think that's the second homecoming poem tonight. Just two things on that one. There's a reference to a neo-Nazi nest, and the small village I grew up in Switzerland back in the 80s was considered the headquarters for the European and Swiss neo-Nazi movement. So I would literally see people getting killed on a weekly basis, at least. I remember going to school in the morning, seeing a body hanging from a street lamp. So it was quite a difficult battleground over there, especially if you yourself were an immigrant. So that's a reference to that, and there's a reference to a flag with rivers in it, and that's the flag of Langenthal. Homecoming, Langenthal. The afternoon bell peals to children out of school. They say it's great to see you after all these years. You can't look at them, but you believe them. The missing parents are wading through the rust. You can't make yourself believe in the end of winter. Back in the 80s, the papers called this place a neo-Nazi nest. Clear signs. Several cats have been laid out upon a tarp. Porcelain bowls, twigs pointing towards the bird bath. There are no spontaneous protests going on anywhere. On March 13, your mother shot herself in the head. The names of the rivers keep changing. A downpour. Where are the birds? They're lifting and flying above the landfill. Nearby, time is running out. You'd better stay here. A Tamil man hung from the streetlight. A murmuration. A golden flag with 3 rivers. There's so much to lose. Far from here, a perfect clay sky, a handful of dark ash. It is March 14, the indispensable and necessary. There's a mute crowd coming from the other room. You are the crowd coming from the other room. And the final poem of the collection, 20 without endings. 1. You are saved in a stone house closing in on you. 2. Learn to play the melody you've been given. 3. At last, untie the slipping noose, the weight. 4. Build a kite. Let the world spot its reasons for war. 5. The murderous dregs in the double barrels. 6. We desire because we suffer. 7. The river or blood running through town. 8. This is a child. This is a sniper. This is a metaphor. 9. If only I could tell you the alley is more than its dumpster fire. 10. Try not to erase the lines, slivers of grammar. 11. We sing because we are lost. 12. Go south with the migrant birds in your throat. 13. Empty your manifesto, what books taught you. 14. And then nothing but muscle memory, lust. 15. Watch the boxcars, vain and pointless. 16. The milkman will bottle the names of the dead. 17. I don't know you is your mother tongue. 18. Tell me is another way to say you are flesh. 19. If you read this again, remember what you wanted. Thanks so much for listening.